Welcome to week 4 of my Dark Studies series where I'm teaching you guys week by week what I've been learning in my forensic psychology classes. This week we're going to go over NGRI, or not guilty by reason of insanity / criminal responsibility. First things first is NGRI is a legal defense. It's not a diagnosis. It doesn't mean that someone didn't commit the acts. It means that the law finds them not criminally responsible because of a severe mental illness at the time of the crime. And if you guys see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. I did a paper this week if you guys have been following along, and it was on criminal responsibility. Our teacher gave us a case in which we had to determine if somebody was held criminally responsible or not. And the state that it took place in was in Florida. I'm going to school in Florida online. In order to determine if someone is held criminally responsible, or NGRI, again, not guilty by reason of insanity, you have to hit 2 prongs. That's going to be a mental disease or defect. The defendant had a serious mental illness, and the impact of knowledge of action / wrongfulness. Did they not know what they were doing or the consequences, or that they knew the act but did not know it was wrong because of their delusional thinking? Now, proving someone is criminally insane in legal definitions is really, really hard, okay? It's not something super easy. It's hard to prove because even if someone has a psychiatric diagnosis, the court's still going to ask, did the illness actually impair the understanding at the time of the crime? So just because someone has a mental illness doesn't mean that they're off willy-nilly like, yeah, you're good to go, kind of like Taylor business. If you know, you know. For an example, in my paper, if you guys watched my other video, the guy had actually said, like, I shouldn't have done it. So he had a knowing of what was right and wrong, which likely fails the second prong. Now, here's the key distinction. A mental illness does not mean an automatic NGRI. A person can be very ill but still legally responsible if they knew what they were doing and it was wrong. Again, I just proved that point. There are some ethical boundaries though. Forensic psychologists don't decide guilt or responsibility. That's for the court. This is something that I was really confused on before. I thought that we were the ones that would say, hey, yeah, they're not guilty by reason of insanity, blah, 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 blah. No. So you just present your findings, and even in my paper, I wasn't allowed to say, like, yeah, he would be deemed criminally insane, he would be deemed criminally responsible, blah, blah, blah. You just say, hey, these are the prongs that need to be met per the state. He doesn't fit them. And then you just give it to the court and they decide. So our role and responsibility in situations like this is for forensic psychologists to provide evidence-based evaluations. Oh my God. Describe mental state and explain how symptoms might have influenced behavior. We also need to take into account people's cultural and delusional beliefs, meaning that delusions may lead a defendant to act as if they were morally justified, even if they know it's illegal. And cultural differences can complicate things. Evaluators must separate genuine cultural practices from psychiatric impairment. I am having the hardest time talking today. Being found not guilty by reason of insanity doesn't mean that someone's getting off easy. Defendants are actually usually committed to psychiatric hospitals, often for as long or longer than a prison sentence. It's also like really rare. Like a lot of people will put it in and very rarely will someone actually get it. Now here's the big takeaway. NGRI cases highlight the fine line between legal responsibility and psychiatric impairment. The system is cautious. It requires strong evidence that mental illness truly erased understanding of action / wrongfulness. Thank you for joining me for week 4, and let's see what we got in for week 5. I promise you I will not miss another Monday. Hold me accountable.